What is up, everybody? You are back once again on the ultimate Schmoedown Aftershow. So, my name is Boggs, in case you missed me. First show back this year, I think. So, for myself, with my girl Sol, as usual. How you doing today, Sol?
Doing good. And this is not your first show back this year. You were here for my 1 year anniversary in January.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was 2 months ago. Damn, I don't even remember. So much going on. Literally, so much going on. So, So, obviously, the season kicked off. We've got a lot to talk about. Throughout the show, it's going to be kind of split into 3 segments. First part, we will be discussing something regarding our host John Barr, which we'll come to in a second. Then we're going to get onto the recap of the pay-per-view and, of course, of Titans that just dropped on Friday. And we'll be discussing something else as well, pretty important to our show moving forward. So, it's not gonna be a super long show today. No guests. We'll be discussing everything. So hello to everyone in the chat as well. I think there's 20 something people waiting before we started. So clearly they're after a good show. So first of all, we have a bit of a statement from John, who is our main host on this show. So let's play the clip. It is coming in 2 parts. So if it looks weird, then that'll be why. But yes, in 2 parts, 5 minutes each or so. So Sean, please play the clip.
Hey everybody, John here. I am making this video here partially because I'm at work when you're watching this, but also because this is me letting you all know that I have talked with the gang and made the tough decision to step away from the show and the movie trivia Schmoedown as a whole. It has been an incredible 2 years to be a part of this show. I remember submitting my audition for it back in the day. Weird to say that about 2 years ago, but time doesn't really exist anymore. But I remember submitting my audition back before I had a job that I was working. Back during the early part of the pandemic, during that time when I was just, like all of us, locked inside, not really being able to see people, not really being able to experience things, and just needing somebody to talk to. It reminded me a lot of when I first started watching the Schmoedown, actually. I started watching it in 2018, right when I moved out to Los Angeles. I also didn't have a job then, but I had just moved out. I was spending all of my days just working on scripts, applying for jobs, locked in my apartment all day for almost a full year. And that was, would you believe, not great for a person's mental health. And of the various things that I kind of bounced around with online to try and find something to help anchor me, one of those things was the Schmoedown. However, as I have felt myself change over the past 4 years since I started watching this show, I have felt my relationship and my affinity for it change a lot as well, specifically over the past few months with a few different things that have happened in this space. Obviously, everybody processes and handles and moves forward from different things in different ways because we're all different people. And as I kind of talked about a little bit in the last episode I was on, I do not presume that my experience is the same as others, nor should it be. This is all purely my subjective process of moving forward, but I have felt on edge a little bit for a while now, and I just hit that tipping point. But this video is not me trying to just air every grievance I can think of as I run out the door. That's not something that is particularly helpful or worth watching, quite frankly, because again, it's all subjective and personal, and I don't want anyone to feel like they have to mirror me and my thoughts. This video is largely just to say some thank yous. There have been a lot of very incredible people that have supported this show, and by extension me, over the past couple of years, which has been crazy to see. So many fans of the Schmoedown that have continued to tune into us talking about it week after week and been very kind and supportive with their words and affirmations, which has been lovely. Likewise, so many competitors that have been willing to come on the show on a Saturday and talk to us about it, several of whom I've been able to speak to on and off the clock and formed some stronger connections with. It's been a trip to be sort of part of the Schmoedown community, because again, as much as I feel like it's time for me to leave the Schmoedown, the sheer number of folks that I have met in this community that have been just so incredibly, just from the jump, supportive and kind and generous and thoughtful has made it very overall lovely to be kind of a part of this space, even for as much as I was in/out of it. It's always been weird to kind of be brought into the Schmoedown community the way that I was, being kind of just a lurker, somebody that was, started watching alone.
And then we have
Part one.
part two.
Really being like a super active commenter or anything, to then submitting an audition tape and then becoming a part of an after show with a competitor who not everybody has always liked. That's been, it was a weird introduction into the space, and to try and find my place in it has always been weird, and I think that's a failure of mine, quite frankly. Is I think I could have done more to be kind of vocal and also supportive and really join up in the community as much as I could have, because I think for all of the various problems that I have and the reasons that I'm choosing to leave, next to none of those reasons have to do with the Schmoedown community, I think largely just because of like how the Schmoedown is like a subset of various internet movie media places on YouTube has made the core of the Schmoedown fan base, I think, some of the most like not just supportive and passionate, but also just like energetic folks that I've seen, and watching the way that it has rallied behind folks in various different ways. The Smash-a-thon being a great example of that. To see so many people so quickly rally behind the women of this space, with obviously the most recent situation, supporting those victims, while also just supporting the various women that have come forward over the years, both on the show itself and in the fan base, just like trying to make sure that everybody feels supported and like they belong, because they do. It has been a lovely thing to see, and I do feel blessed to have been whatever kind of part of it I was over the years, especially considering that the last episode I would have been on is one that tackled a very touchy and difficult and sensitive subject, and the fact that so many of you let us do that and supported us in trying to talk about an issue that mattered, and the fact that afterwards various folks reached out to me personally, and even the folks who didn't fully agree with everything that we said were still so clearly like compassionate and thoughtful and understanding people. Just very, very full of grace. I was moved by it. Yeah, I just want to extend a big thank you to the Schmoedown community. The fact that so many of you have been so kind to me, especially since I fall more in the realm of an outsider than anything else. That is something I will very much appreciate long after I'm gone. But of course, my biggest thank yous absolutely have to go to the team behind the Ultimate Schmoedown Aftershow. Boggs and Soul, my two wonderful co-hosts, Sean and Mike, the fantastic producers, Colin and Mina, our two former co-hosts, and of course John Roca, the guy who put this show on, who allowed us to have this platform in the Schmoedown. I thank all of you greatly for helping me grow and be social. It is something I deeply appreciate. I don't have any particularly moving final words, as it were. Again, largely because this is a show that we put on for the Schmoedown community, and I think me being gone will not change anything about what makes the Schmoedown community good and strong. I think so many of y'all have such incredible heads on your shoulders, hearts in your chests, that I think it's clear that so many of you care so passionately about making sure that the people in this space feel that love, and I know that will continue. And if this is the last time we see each other again, it has been an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to put on a show for you every single week. Well, not every single week. We skipped a few weeks. I think I probably skipped the most weeks of anybody. Yeah, this show isn't gonna miss me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Stay safe, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is John Barr's statement. He has confirmed, he has left the show. Me personally, I'm going to miss him a lot. I started the show with him years ago. Pretty much speak to him every day. Very talented individual, comedian, writer, actor, activist. Definitely, it's a loss for us and for the community as a whole, in my opinion. But I'm also happy as well. Happy that I've known him for this long time. He's not gone anywhere. Obviously, we're still friends and stuff. But we are. It's a hard body shot as as his mate and also as a show as well. But so, any thoughts?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna miss John. So that was a lie there at the end, John. The show will miss you, but the show does go on now. Now there are two.
Right. Yeah, from 4 to 2, right? But yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat as well, being super sweet. But yeah, feel free to send John a message. He's active on the socials, so send him a message. He's not gone anyway. He's just not going to be with us. Saturdays live at 3 p.m. every week. But so moving forward, we are going to review some of these matches that have occurred and some of these events. And then we're going to get to our own kind of statement. So we're going to tease that a little bit. So first of all, we're just going to quickly recap the pay-per-view that occurred last week because we didn't have a show. There's some scheduling issues, but we'll quickly recap the pay-per-view, which started off. The undercard was, I don't know if they're called Claudia Drew or what was the actual name? I don't know.
I don't think
Claudia
they had a
and
name.
Lydia Drew against the Wildberries. First, full studio match, had in a long time. So it was all kind of lights, camera, action, loads of energy, cutscenes, and things like that. So, the Wildberries did come out with a win. It came down to the 5-pointer pretty much. Wildberries did hit their kind of strength, if you will, with that wild card slice. That was kind of interesting, being the Die Hard movies that kind of involve Die Hard in some way. And you know, the girls did land Stephen King. I thought, you know, Video drew with a horror strength, but I just think the guys got kind of more points that had the lead, and then they had to hit their 5 and missed, of course. But overall, yeah, super fun. You know, loads of energy. You know, Video drew's great character, and it was nice, kind of bouncing off the Wildberries, and it was just fun seeing them back. You know, and they're not, you know, they're good players as well, you know, clearly getting the win, and, you know, people laugh at them and, you know, some of their antics and stuff, but they're legit players as well. So I don't think they get enough credit for that. But overall thoughts on that match?
I love seeing the wild card be in play, and how much it did fit into. I was like, if any wild card, any like random thing, Die Hard in a blank, that is definitely, you think, Wildberries. So that worked out very well for them. It could have been anything, and I can't wait to see what other wild card stuff come in the future. I like Video Drew and Claudia Dolph as a team. I hope they stick together, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And whoever's doing the graphics, like, good job. The graphics really stepped up this year.
Yeah, definitely nice to see Claudia Dolph getting a shot again. I know she played a shooting match previously, but she won her last match. You know, we had a kind of like an extended show with her as well, you know, getting to know her. She's really sweet. So yeah, nice to see her getting a bit of limelight. And then going on to the main event, we saw a kind of 3-round IG, not contender, I guess it was some kind of contender match anyway, where, you know, the return of the Smasher Kevin Smets against you know, fellow former champ Chandru Dandapani. And you know, Chandru, I told Chandru, you got to wear the Loki outfit. I told him so many times, and I'm glad he did it, because he's got the hair, black hair, you know, with the President Loki look. It just suits him. He should keep that as his outfit. So but yeah, he came back, you know, he was surprised, obviously, seeing him teaming up with Roxy, of course. But it's a good fit. You know, she can play face, she can play heel, she can do the hard talk, and I think he needs that. So yeah, it was a good fit. And you know, the match went down again, pretty similar, came down to the 5. But yeah, it was it came down to the 5. He missed it, but yeah, Smets played great. Obviously, Chandru didn't miss before that 5, so I thought, wow, he just looks electric. But yeah, overall, Smets pulled out the win. Chandru missed his 5. So thoughts on that?
This is a match of where both competitors miss one question. It's just Chandru missed the question that cost the most. And unfortunately, the person we wanted to win did not win. But seeing Smets win, that's always a good thing as well. And I think for storyline purposes, whatever they create going forward, it's better that Smets won. But I will never root against Chandru. And I really kind of like the pairing of him and Roxy together. I think that's going to be very interesting, especially what we have learned with the Titans reveal when we get into the first episode of Titans.
Right, yeah, you liked it, but Janine didn't. So
no, she did not.
she kind of flipped out a bit at you know, Chandru teaming up with Roxy, because, you know, Roxy seemed to have stabbed Smets in the back because she helped him so much during his rehabilitation. So yeah, Janine's not happy. And then that obviously transitions to Titans this week, where you know, starts off again, the kind of surprise undercard. Obviously, unless you're Patreon, you get the, you know, the match released early, and it was, of course, Jen Kemp against Doug Benson. Yeah, I mean, he's a lot. He's a lot. I mean, he's kind of. I really liked his studio match last year. Sorry, his digital match last year. He's got he starts off like really slow, and then his just energy builds up throughout the match, and his jokes come out and stuff. But also Jen as well. Like, she's kind of quirky. Like, you know, I see it, you know, with her dancing, her promos, and the dice, and the head, the hat thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what animal it was exactly, but yeah, she's definitely quirky herself. So, and with Kate again, that's a good pair.
And she's wicked smart.
Yeah, honestly, I genuinely, you know, I think it's probably because of the UK. I didn't know what that meant until she was like,
it's a Boston thing.
Yeah, exactly. Until she literally spelled it out, I was like, oh, that's what that meant. And then Coy had it, of course. So yeah, it just went over my head. So I wasn't a UK friendly joke, future reference. But yeah, no, match starts off obviously. Of course, we did have a cut scene as well where Liz is trying to get some some truth out of Ethan, and he's playing the cards close to his chest, and then kind of everyone kind of jumps him in effect, whether that's Swag, that's Finstar, Corruption, all the fan favorites. But yeah, he kept his cards close to his chest at that point, but we did see a reveal later on in the show. But yeah, overall, she had the lead. Finished 8-7. So a couple of things about the graphics and stuff. I will say that you don't know what question number it is sometimes, and there's like so there's a couple of things different. I'm not gonna lie, it's taking me a little bit of getting used to. I know people as well do love the coloring of the studio. For me, I don't know. I'm not 100% there, because I've noticed a lot of people wear dark clothing, whether it's the announcers, Christian Guy, whether it's Ken or Mark, of course. They're wearing dark blazers and the background is bright green. It just doesn't 100% sit well with me. It's not as smooth as the Kaleido. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but obviously, as if anyone watched the press conference that Christian did with some of the after shows, that that's not their permanent one, it is a temporary one for now. But yeah, overall thoughts on the first round, and I believe she was winning 9-8. Sorry, she was winning 9-8 end of the first round.
It's 9-8, and this is if not counting the Black Cinema match, this is where you see a first singles match in singles where it's 10 questions in round one, where that's the new format: 10 questions round one, 5 questions in round two across the board for all divisions. But how dare they ask that god-awful Death Note question? That movie is god-awful. It is a wonderful anime. It is a terrible live-action movie. And they said it in Seattle instead of it being in Japan. So just having to hear that, I was like, ugh, awful movie.
I did like the last question. I think they did it both matches, where they named like 4 movies, and which movie is this actor not in? I think it was Jeff Daniels, and answer was Social Network. Yeah, that's a good spin on a different format of asking a question. So yeah, nice different type of question in round one to keep you on your toes. Definitely, yeah. So I do like that change. And then going into round two, Benson went first, spun wild card, didn't keep it, went on to Gene Hackman. He did really well. Missed his second question, but luckily for him, Jen also missed it. So he did have the lead, I believe 15-9. Going into the second round, Jen also spun the wild card, spun off it again. It's funny, like how brave you're going to be to stand on it, to keep it. I think obviously it is a bit foolish to do so, but it will be interesting to see who does it first. And then she lands on Mel Brooks. Again, she went strong as well. Finished 15-17. She did miss the last question, the producer's question, which Doug Benson stole. So overall thoughts on the match so far?
I was so sad she missed the producer's question, because that's one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite musicals. It might be my favorite musical, but I don't know where, like, there's some others that can compete for number one, but it's definitely up there in the top 5. And so I was sad she missed that one, but Doug snatched that up, and it's the reversal of fates. Round 1, she's up. Round 2, Doug's up.
Yeah, these celebrities are coming in. I don't remember seeing a bad one. Like, they're all, Paul Waterhauser, it's Kevin Smith. They all can play. They all know their stuff. They know their industry well. Whether they do podcasts, Griffin Nooms, of course. They're all, I'm pretty sure they're thoroughly checked before, or maybe tested before, because, like, they're all legit players. He was leading at this point. And then going into the third round, Jen hit a 2-pointer, the ET question. Benson hit his 2-pointer, the Agent K Men in Black question. Then she missed her Heaven Can Wait question. He also missed his concussion question, Will Smith one. She did hit her 5, the Michelle Williams in Shutter Island. And of course, he missed his 5-pointer, the Kick-Ass question. I will say, to be honest, and being honest, the 5-pointer for Jen, I did feel was a little soft. Oscar, nominated actress in the lead for, DiCaprio's wife in a Martin Scorsese movie. I just thought that is a little. If you told me that was a 2-pointer, I wouldn't argue with that. Or even if I heard that in the first round, would I be massively shocked? No. So I was like a little shocked at that, but she hit it nonetheless, and he didn't hit his 5. And she wins two wins a match. But overall thoughts on the third round? So,
And don't you know that all blonde women look the same?
right.
That was definitely a hilarious moment with Jen. I had no idea who Jeff Wadlow was before this match. So yeah, there was that moment of I heard that question as a 5-pointer. I was like, oh, I put that as a round 2 question when I write questions for the Outlaw Nation League. So I was like, oh, that's. But again, it's subjective on what is hard and what's not hard. And then I was like, I've never heard of Jeff Wadlow before. I need to go look him up.
Yeah, but yeah, fun ending to the match. You know, hopefully we see Doug again. He seems up for it. Seems like he wants to play again. You know, fed off the crowd and grew into the match. You know, just missed his 5. And then we did a few cutscenes in between this match where Adam Witt announced that he signed. I guess that was a post match, but Adam Witt announced he signed JT, who is definitely a fan favorite. So I guess it works. The theory works of having the fan favorites. And then Ethan talking to Janine. Obviously, you know, Janine's tried to pitch bringing back the time machine and working together. I think that was a good fit. And then Ken and then we see Ken on the desk. And for me, Ken is the best announcer for me. He's so witty. Like every time he speaks, like I'm telling you, he tells like 3 quick jokes, like, and it just moves on so quick. Like it takes you a second or two to catch up with it afterwards. Yeah, he's got great energy. Yeah, he's my favorite announcer personally. So I love it when he's on the desk. And obviously JT walks out. He's got this new look. I mean, at first I'm like, is that Gucci in disguise? Like, what's this? You know, I think he's got the gold kind of look from the Finstock Exchange still. But you know, I think he kind of pulled it off. He looked like straight out of Miami.
Better jacket. Straight out of Miami. You've never been to Miami, Box.
Of the movies anyway and stuff. So
okay.
But yeah, it was a funny look. But going into the match, yeah, it's a nice difference in personalities. Obviously JT's talking smack, and Maya's the baby face as usual. And then going into the match, yeah, like JT missed his second question. The new release dates were just 1 year off. Maya playing excellent, and then just missed the last question, which equaled up the match. Again, a similar question where which of these kind of actors do not appear in this movie kind of thing, and it was Octavia Spencer, or which actress does not appear in Spider-Man 2, sorry, which actor. And yeah, it was Octavia Spencer, and JT missed it, evened up the match. So nice little twist there, ending 9-9. And then, yeah, overall thoughts on the match and JT's look.
I love JT's look. He came out. I love too the you know me, which kind of like made me think of I'm down with JTE. Yeah, you know me. That was the one thing that I thought of when he said you know me, and they were like, no, I don't think I do right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was super fun. You know, JT is a legend, not gonna lie. So yeah, seeing him, whatever vibe he gets it. Yeah, and he can pull it off. So good on the guy. Yeah, going into round 2, JT goes first. Initially lands on Kevin Hart, which we'll see later, but spins off that and lands with Oscars. Gets his first one, misses his second question, which is the 2018 Best Picture. He gets wrong. Maya stole The Shape of Water. Ended that round. He missed another question as well. Misses the last question. There's Steven Spielberg, Best Picture Director, which was the first nomination. It was Jaws. He missed it. Maya stole. End of the round, finishing just 14-12 ahead. And we know how good the kid is in round 2. So you knew he was going to come back, and he did. And he, of course, initially landed off martial arts. Clearly JT's strength and then landed on Kevin Hart. Finally got to see that. He did get 4 out of 5. He missed the last question, which JT knew. Of course, he tried to cut off Mark, but he seemed like he was 100% sure as well. That would be super funny if he'd have missed that, but he did get it. Finished 20-18. So Maya had the lead. Going into the third, of course, JT had to go first. He got his 2-point question, the Disney one, missed his 3 and his 5. Ended up losing by DK. That obviously was a challenge as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with that movie. I'm not gonna lie, so I don't know how strong the challenge was, but I do like, Adam being a player and has done this several times now in different divisions as well. I believe he's done it in Star Wars and he's done it in singles as well. So he's bringing an extra proving his worth as manager, maybe different quality to other managers. So that's his kind of speciality. Like he's kind of because he's a player, he can do that same kind of thing as Sam does as well. So I do love that. It's the 5 as well. So he's free to use it. Why not see what happens? Obviously, it didn't go his way. And Maya wins by TKO. But overall thoughts on the 3rd round in the match. So
we had a classic JTE moment in there when he said green room when he obviously meant green book.
Right.
Like the answer was still wrong if you would have said with green book, but it was just one of those where I was just like, oh, because I thought when I was playing along, I was like, is it green book? And then he says green room, and I'm like, nope. And but it's the Shape of Water, and then also a classic Ken moment, what you were speaking of Ken being the best on the desk, is when he was like, it's between one of the 2 of these, and he's like, well, you got to give us one. Like it was just a really funny moment between where Ken is just able to bring in that flavor in there of just quick and witty, and I think he's the best at it. And then him with Ellis, the 2 of them together is like my favorite pairing on the desk.
Right. Yeah, Ken's so sharp. He's so sharp. Yeah. He's so funny. And then afterwards, we did get a bit of a kind of reveal where Ethan, kind of brings out his new manager and or faction now. With the Stars, with Roxy, a very would not have predicted that pairing at all.
Right.
But I don't know. He's going to go heel now. Like, what's he doing? He wants his titles back.
He has to.
Joining a team of winners, and he calls out Janine, surprisingly, because I did think that we're going to team up then. So a nice twist. But yeah, obviously Marisol needs a title challenger. So, to the previous champ and, someone who done well in the tournament. We know Chance is playing Bibbs as well. That's been announced. So the kind of contenders are lining up slowly. So Marisol better be training because she's got some tough people to be playing. And then at the end of that, we did get a cutscene with Ty. Nice to see Ty back, and Whitney Sidewell. We really didn't see the whole of last season, so he apparently is going to succeed where the Beast failed and become this great team. Apparently, don't need a manager, but yeah, great personalities there. And yeah, Ty's got a lot to offer. Look different as well. I'm not sure, maybe different outfit. I don't know, but he just looked like maybe he's been working out. I'm not sure, but yeah, he had a glow about him. I was like, yeah, you go, Ty. But yeah. Nice to have some scenes back, some unpredictability about the shows, people pairing up. It is bringing excitement back slowly. So yeah, overall thoughts on them cutscenes. So
I did not expect a heel turn from Ethan. I was thinking that Time Machine was going to get back together, so that was a nice little tease there. I wonder who his partner now is going to be on the Stars, because yeah, she's developing that heel faction. It's a very interesting. I wonder if Chanju will go into like teams, be like, let me go into, because that would be an interesting pairing between the 2 of them. But I don't think so. But that's just my what if, Disney's what if. And we've learned multiple times that sunglasses equal heel, because we had Chanju in sunglasses and Roxy in sunglasses when they came out as well. So sunglasses equal heels. Yeah, Ed Tyrant and Whitney. That's going to be super interesting. And Saflirt Flaus as a manager.
Oh, yes. How can I forget? Yes.
Yeah. How can you forget Saflirt Flaus?
I think some FCL people were tripping out seeing him back. So speaking of FCL, where's that gone? So hopefully we'll get an announcement about that as well. But yeah, you mentioned what if there, and it does feel like that. I think that's Christian's intention or vision for this year. You don't know who's going to team up. You don't know who's going to turn up on Titans, and it is coming across. So I will say that, yeah, it does have that feel to it. It's definitely fun. Lots of energy, bringing the right people back, like Ken, like Josh. You need energy. You need right type of personalities, because obviously it is harder to come across in for the type of show. For digital, obviously the studio, it brings people can bring their personalities through and their kind of class through, so, and acting skills and all that. So yes, definitely feel the difference there. But yeah, I think that is everything. We are got a few things to discuss now, and you might have seen on the thumbnail about the show moving forward. So producers, do you want to come on and we'll kind of get that addressed? Also, as well, we didn't mention Oh yeah, can everyone say hi to Mike in the chat as well? Clearly, he wants a drum roll.
Well, I mean, look, they got to go ahead and start cheering me on because I'm going to wipe the floor with you in trivia later. So.
I literally keep forgetting. Yeah, literally.
Right after this, join the Patreon. Yeah, patreon.com/John Roca. If you do, you get to see Boggs and Mike fight each other in a match today.
Yes. Teammates who are going against each other. So thanks for that, Commissioner. So
you're welcome.
But yeah, so one thing before we get into the next topic is that we did on our previous show, we did at the start of the show, Mike mentioned before we discussed anything that Streamlabs and Super Chats were open. We instantly recognized that was an error, and because we did receive numerous Streamlabs. And Mike, please continue with
that was very much a fault on my part. It was incredibly insensitive. It was me speaking off the cuff. I had scripted everything else I was going to say that day, and was just kind of struggling to transition between thoughts, and just ultimately misspoke. What we did end up doing with the Streamlabs that were sent in was that money was donated to Futures Without Violence, which is a wonderful charity that helps support advocates and survivors for things against domestic and sexual violence. So all the Streamlabs that were sent in from the previous episode were donated. I don't have the amount in front of me. And then both Roca and I matched with our own donations as well. So donations been made to the Futures Without Violence. Please, if you want to go check them out right now, futureswithoutviolence.org, and you can read up on them. So apologies for putting my foot in my mouth last time and just kind of struggling with the situation. But it's a new day. We're moving forward. I guess I'll go ahead and loop into kind of what we're going to talk about. First of all, before I go from there, I do want to go ahead and shout out to John Barr. John was one of the first guys on the show with Boggs, and he took over the hosting role after Colin left the show, and was running it expertly ever since. Now it comes down to these two knuckleheads right here who are going to do great going forward. So thank you to John. We're absolutely going to miss you. Obviously, we're going to it's the digital age. We're going to stay in touch. It's not like we're never going to talk to him again, but we're going to miss having him on the show every week. But I also cannot argue against any of his feelings, because a lot of them are shared. And that's a little bit kind of what's going on with today. So as a lot of you know, about a week before the pay-per-view, Christian made the announcement in the Facebook group for the Schmoedown that there was now a PR firm in place that the after shows were going to have to go through for booking guests. Now, prior to this, the process we went through was simply, hey, Thomas Harper, you want to come on the show? All right, cool. See you Saturday at 3. That was the process. That was it. So the announcement was made about the PR firm prior to the pay-per-view. And initially, when we received the contact information for the PR firm, we reached out immediately and said, hey, I said, hey, first of all, my thoughts go out to you for taking on this task of having to wrangle all the requests you're going to get and emails you're going to get from these after shows. But then when the pay-per-view aired and we heard about this Titans thing, that no one was going to know what was going on. All the matches were going to be on Friday and nobody knew what was going to happen until it aired. And when that happened, I reached out to Christian and I said, hey, how are we supposed to book guests for our show? Because if we have to give them 4 or 5 days notice, but we don't know who's even on the show until that Friday, how are we supposed to know who to book for Saturday? We can't book them for the next week's show because then by then 2 more matches have aired. It's going to be outdated and irrelevant information. So we got, there was a lot of back and forth. At one point, there was a Q&A held in the Facebook group. and then ultimately, which led to a press conference being held with Christian and the PR firm and some of the after shows as well. We were all busy except for Boggs, who took the time out of his day to go sit in. And we just asked Boggs, like, hey, you're only gonna get one question, probably. Here's the issue. We want to make sure we have absolute clarity on how the guest booking system's going to work now. At which point we actually have a clip from the press conference, which for the record was sent out to all the shows. We all have permission to air them. I believe Let's Get Ready posted the whole press conference on their channel. So if you want to watch the whole thing, go ahead. But Sean, if you could play Christian's answer to Boggs's question is the clip we have.
Susan and I spoke about it this morning. What we're going to do, and I think it's also too difficult for the PR team, and it's also too difficult for you guys to every single time, hey, we want this person, we want this person, we want this person. So we're gonna eliminate that. And even this morning, what I did was I'm going to put together a list for Susan and the team, and of the available talent that will be available for you guys to interview. And the list will go out. And this is the talent that is available for you guys to interview. What we are going to ask from you guys is almost you guys are going to be under an embargo because there might be spoilers of certain people that are going to be on that show. So, and this is obviously, like, for me, when I'm doing, if a studio asks me to keep an embargo and I break it, well, then I don't get interviews anymore. So, and we're going to keep you guys to the same thing. So if we say, hey, these are the people that are going to be available and you can get them and you can book them, and then you go and spoil it that person's on there, then you're probably not going to get any more interviews. So it's easier for you guys so you can book. The PR team will be sending out a list. And that way, again, you don't have to just keep emailing every day of, hey, we want this person with it. Because I've also seen requests for people, like I saw someone request like Brandon Hanna. He's not gonna be on the show for a little bit. So like, it's not necessary for him to go on any shows right now. It's not like so we want to get this person. That person's not gonna be on an episode anytime soon. You want to get people who are relevant to the show so you guys can talk to them about what's going on. We can get the word out that they have this going on. So you'll get a list box of who it is, and then that way it's easier for you guys to book. So so we're very aware that you guys are gonna need some time to book guests.
Yeah, that didn't work. Plain and simple, didn't work. The next first of all, I want to say I've had a lot of people reach out to me in DMs in the last like 48 hours asking me for the list. Stop asking me for the list. It's not happening. I'm not giving out the list. If there is one thing I pride myself on, it is integrity. So stop asking the after shows for the list, guys. Like, just stop. We're not allowed. Plain and simple. But it didn't work. We reached out. We got the list the next morning. I was sitting in my office when my email dinged on my phone, and they said, here's the list. It was like 10 or 12 people. And so we talked for a couple minutes about, okay, here's who we have to pick from. Who do we want? Let's try and get some folks maybe we haven't had yet first, and then kind of work our way down from there. So we sent out our first request. I sent out the first request and, said, hey, here's who we want. They came back and said, okay, what day, how long? We usually do it, Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, 25 minutes, whatever. And they're like, okay, we'll get back to you. Came back, person's not available. Okay. How about this person? We'll get back to you. Hour later, not available. Hours go by. Now suddenly another person from the firm has joined in, and we're going through just name after name, and it keeps coming back. Not available, not available. I got to a point where I didn't get an answer for like 12 hours. And I emailed back and said, hey, what do we know? Not available. Then they started asking us if we would want to start pre-taping interviews. And it was at this point, it was last night. I was like, if we had more time, sure. If we had days before the show and I could figure we're spread across 3 time zones. Sol and I are both on the East Coast. Boggs is in the London, UK area, and Sean is over on the West Coast. So I can't book something that last minute for pre-taping something, especially because with StreamYard, the reason that John's goodbye video had to be cut into 2 segments is because we can only upload 5-minute videos at a time. So anybody we did pre-tape, we would have to do some kind of magic with StreamYard to play the whole thing. So I basically just said, out of everybody who's left, who's available tomorrow between 3 and 4 Pacific. I didn't get a response until 2 o'clock this afternoon, 23 hours later, basically saying nobody on the list was available. So I'm looking at this magic list and thinking, how is it all these people, the only people I'm allowed to book, how is it none of them are available? None of them. What is the point of the list then? What is the point of having us jump through flaming hoops to get guests for our shows when we have a limited number of people we can pick from and none of them are available? This has taken something that was so simple as a text message or a DM on Twitter or on Facebook saying, hey, are you free? Cool, come on the show. Here's the time. Here's how long. We've been doing it for 2 years seamlessly. Now, I understand that there was a difficult situation that happened recently and a lot of things to do with the PR firm and all that feels a little knee-jerky in terms of the recent situation that we discussed on the previous show. I get that. But if you're going to implement a system, it has to work. And from the minute this system was implemented, it has changed. We've gotten 3 different answers for how this system was supposed to work. The first one was make a request for who you want 4 to 5 days in advance. We did that, never got an answer. Then it was, oh, we're not going to know what's going on until Friday. You have to book them like a week out. Well, that's not going to work for booking the show. I was explicitly told there's not going to be a list. 3 days later, okay, there's going to be a list. Well, the list doesn't work. And I fully accept that by coming on here and stating this frustration and expressing this frustration with the current system, we're probably never going to get a guest on this show ever again to talk about the Schmoedown. And I accept that. I fully accept that, because I'm not going to sit here and have all the work we do mean nothing. I'm not going to sit here and play by the rules of a bully to then be told, well, you played by the rules, but you still can't play. This is what you got to do to join the club, but we're still not going to let you in. So unless we find some way to work with the Schmoedown or something happens between this week and next week, I would not expect us to have guests on the show anytime soon, unless we bring them on for like a shoot the shit segment to come talk about their favorite brand of cat litter or something that's not Schmoedown related. We're probably not going to have competitors on to talk about the Schmoedown anymore. And it breaks my heart, because in watching the pay-per-view and in watching Titans and seeing how far we've come back from the digital matches of the COVID era, and like as a fan, like I should be super excited about this, because there was so much to love that made me love the Schmoedown in the first place. And it just makes me feel kind of sick to my stomach now, because it just feels defeating. So that's what I came on here to say. I, as a producer of this show, I am angry and I am fed up, because I am tired of seeing the hard work that these guys do constantly fucked with. I'm tired of it. These guys all work way too hard for it all to come crashing to a halt in this way, to where now our show is being impeded. So I don't have a whole lot of motivational, uplifting things to say like I try to do when I'm getting to the end of a rant, because at this point I'm just ranting. But that's where we're sitting right now. And open to a discussion. I'm open to a dialogue with the powers that be. It is what it is. So I'm gonna stop talking now and let you guys.
I got you, Mike. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as
wait, I'm sorry, Box. Can
Yeah,
I
go
just add in? I wasn't gonna say anything, but after hearing Mike talk, I just wanted to add something that I echo pretty much everything Mike just said in terms of the frustration level we are at with the situation that is currently in. And And Mike was right. Last year, ever since we've been doing this show, it's as simple as, oh, we know this. We see what matches are coming up. Hey, are you free to come on? Yes, please come on. We promote it. They come on. They can talk about the show. We're helping the league grow by giving these competitors a platform to show off their talent and talk about the Schmoedown. And this PR firm and the way it's currently set up is hindering the after show community, which is part of the Schmoedown community. So it's really, really frustrating to, what's the point of the after shows if you can't have the people on? What would be the point of ESPN if they couldn't have the players from the leagues on the network? They're there to help promote the sports that they talk about. We're here to promote the Schmoedown. And if we can't have people on to do that, then why are we even doing the show or any after shows, in my opinion? So I would like to suggest, PR firm, if you're listening, why don't we do it this way? We will tell you when our show is going to be on. Saturdays, 3 p.m. PT, 6 p.m. Eastern time, every Saturday. You tell us who's available, and then we'll just choose who we'd like to go on. It's very, very simple. You know who's going to be in the show. You know what time we're going to be on. You'll know who'll be available. You let us know who's going to be available, and then we get to pick from the people who are going to be available at Saturday between 3 and 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's not that hard. It's really simple. That way, it's less frustrating for us. You get less bombardment from us. There's less confusion back and forth, and there's more communication that we can actually do our jobs more effectively. Because the way Mike is right, it's been very frustrating to say, all right, here's the list of people that are going to be available, and none of them are available. Like, then what was the point of it? And what's the point of us doing this? So, I mean, that's really all I just wanted to say. And I also just wanted to echo what Mike said earlier about John Barr. He did an amazing job from the moment the show started till now. He will be missed, but at the same time, we're going to carry the show on without him, but it won't be the same without him. And I just, if we're going to do this show, I would like to do it the right way, where we actually talk about the Schmoedown, we have guests on, we have a good time, and then we go about our business. Otherwise, if it's just us talking about it and not being able to actually get people on like we used to, then we're doing something completely different. And I don't want to do that. So, PR firm, if you're listening, that was my suggestion. Take it, don't take it. All I'm trying to say is I want to help us help you, and you help us. That's what a community is for.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying, obviously, it is, I will say it's the first week that this has happened. Obviously, there is teething things. We know that, they film on Saturdays. They've told us that. But as you guys can see, this causes major frustrations and headache and further, unnecessary correspondence and, things like that. So, and it's, the worrying thing is every single after show has patrons. Okay. Everyone who's on an after show are hardcore fans. They're all, at least one person on every single after show is going to have at least one patron, if not everyone, apart from, on whatever after. And there's 15, 20 after shows, I don't know. And they are all being affected by this. So, like I said, you're affecting the hardcore fans. You're affecting the patrons getting the guests on. And, I've said it before, we've talked about this previously where, I think you guys just pretty much mentioned it there. Like, we're fully aware. I am fully aware that people do not watch this show to know my opinions on this right now. They just don't. They're here to see the guests. And when we have guests on, the talent, right? We have patrons that come in from all over the world that meet them, that ask them questions, that get to know them, that are more invested in them. Several occasions, we've raised several hundred, dollars. It's not about the money, but I'm just saying that several hundred, people sending in questions they want to donate to ask to get to know these individuals, and that we're being stopped from doing that. It's an imperative part of our show to have these guests, because that's what whether it's managers or whoever, players, that's what's important. Not us, like Sean just said there, we don't basically want to do the show without guests. That's just not, that's not that's not the aim of this show. We're trying to lift them up, to lift the league up, to lift the show up. And if we're being stopped from doing that, it causes major frustrations. And yeah, we feel like we're just climbing up, we're just it's so difficult and causing mad frustration. And it's something that's better got to be done, because at the end of the day, they sent, as Christian answered there, and Christian didn't on that press conference, he didn't seem like he wasn't hiding away. He seemed like he was eager to answer my issues, and he was great in doing that. But they literally said, we're going to tell you available people. We've asked them from this, and the list was great, by the way. Like, we haven't had some of them people on the show before. It was super exciting, to get some of them people on, and it's like all no's. So they're not available people. That don't take the piss out of us. That's what it come across as, right? So again, I know it's the first week and stuff, but it causes, like, after everything that's happened recently, it literally feels like the aftershows have been affected, and we are the hardcores, we are the patrons, we're the ones that ride or die, and we're the ones being affected, and it's making it so difficult. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. But Sol, please.
I echo pretty much everything that everyone else says, and I don't want to be in like an echo chamber repeating basically the feelings when I say, basically I feel the same. And it's just a thing that is added on top of several other issues that I'm having with the Schmoedown right now as a fan. And one of them is still that I don't think they have handled the Ben Goddard situation well, and that they are just keeping it to a Twitter thing, and they haven't really spoke about it outside of Twitter. And I know all of us have spoken off camera, and then John and I on camera 2 weeks ago, that we found those statements lacking. And so adding the Ben Goddard situation on top of this with the PR firm, and then also we've learned recently that the Schmoedown has joined BBS, which I want to put, what is BBS? Because that was my first question. So Sean, if you could show up that picture, this is straight from their website. It's behind. As we wait for that.
Just keep going.
Like, BBS, part of it is dealing with NFTs. And for those of you who don't know, NFTs are very, very bad for the environment. I'm going to reference several articles. Those articles will be down in the description below if you want to read them, because it's really goes in depth on just how terrible for the environment NFTs, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, things of that nature is for the environment. And NFTs consume lots of energy. Cryptocurrency and NFTs transactions are done through a process called mining. It involves a network of computers that use advanced cryptography to decide whether transactions are valid, and in doing so uses energy on the scale of a small country, and that's coming from Wired.com. According to TheVerge.com, NFTs are partially responsible for the millions of tons of planet-heating carbon dioxide emissions generated by cryptocurrencies used to buy and sell them. So again, not great. As written in the New York Times, here we go with that. So what is BBS? Going to this, it's a public network of interconnected message boards. If you read a little bit down, every post published on BBS is stored as an NFT that users can purchase and own. Users who own post NFTs will earn a share of the ad revenue generated. So it is if you go onto the site, it kind of looks a little bit like Reddit, except for you have to pay for that comment. That comment gets minted and becomes an NFT. And that is basically what I'm speaking on here, is the environmental impact that the Schmoedown is now taking part in. Going back to, as written by the New York Times, according to estimated backup by independent researchers, the creation of an average NFT has a stunning environmental footprint of over 200 kilograms of planet-warming carbon dioxide, equivalent to driving 500 miles in a typical American gasoline-powered car. CBS News Ethereum, which is the site that's used to store NFTs and Bitcoin, is currently estimated to consume roughly 44.94 terawatt hours of electrical energy, which is comparable to the yearly power consumption of countries like Qatar and Hungary. And then Vice.com says one NFT transaction is equivalent to about 100,000 Visa transaction. They also go on to say you can power a house in the US for 4.7 days with the energy used to mint one NFT. There's millions of NFTs getting minted a day. So this is terrible for the environment. This is not good. And the MTS is now partnering with a company that is destroying the planet. So that was like, again, just these hits, blow after blow, them not handling the Ben Goddard situation correctly, in my eyes, in my opinion, that with the PR stuff with this, and then now that they are being part of something that creates NFTs, really makes me feel bad about the Schmoedown. And I want to be excited because these matches were fun to watch, and them being back in the studio is super fun. And all I feel is dread for the MTS right now. So I beg the Schmoedown community, do not use this site. I beg the MTS to not partner with the site anymore, because is it really important to make this quick buck if you're going to be destroying the planet that we live on?
Well said. I know jack shit about this kind of thing. I just think that NFTs are stupid. So in addition to being bad for the environment, they're also just stupid. You know, it harkens to something else that was stated in the press conference when Christian said he was trying to like get away from this misconception that people had that if the Patreon failed, the Schmoedown would fail. It's not a misconception. He literally said it, like in the Q&A in Facebook. He literally said the words, "If the Patreon doesn't work, this will be the last year." Like, it's not a misconception. It's what you said. And this just, I understand that there are other sources of income for the Schmoedown, but this one just feels like a Hail Mary, and it feels like a really bad Hail Mary. And it just, yeah, I don't, Boggs, you got anything?
Yeah, no, not on this NFC. I'm not gonna lie, I've done my research, so I don't know too much about it. I'll listen to Saul on that. But yeah, obviously clearly some major frustrations here. You know, we do love this game, we do love this league, the show, whatever, but you know, we're being pushed. And where, like I said, us guys are the hardcores. We're the ones that put hours in on this every day, pretty much. You know,
look at our Facebook group chat every day. It is from the moment one of us is awake till the moment the last one of us goes to bed. It is talking about the show, talking about the Schmoedown, trying to figure out a plan. Like, this is anybody who runs one of the after shows knows, like, it is nonstop.
Yeah. And yeah, I really hope they take this as feedback or something, because we like, something needs to happen. They need to you know, I believe Christian when what he told me that day. So I'm hoping, you know, moving forward, it's going to be a bit more you know, feasible, especially with the, you know, with the guests and stuff. And because it seemed like as of now, it's just a fake out of basically, oh, here's, you know, 12 people are available and none of them are available when we reached out. So yeah, it's disheartening. But yeah, you know, we're trying to stay positive as much as we can, but you know, our buttons are being pushed here, and you know, we've done nothing to warrant this. Like, what have we done for it to be affected so much? So yeah, we're big frustrated, big time. But you know, we move forward. But anything else, Mike, you want to add?
I was going to say, like, just to kind of echo what you said, like, if you get the opportunity, please watch the entire press conference. One, there's a lot of very good information in there. Two, because like Boggs said, like, Christian was very upfront and genuine in this press conference. I've watched the whole video. It's a little over like 90 minutes.
It's like 40 minutes. Was
it really only that long?
Yeah, I think so.
I watched it in pieces at work. I had a busy day today. But no, it's yeah, you can watch it in under an hour. It's a lot of really great information. And like I said, Christian was very upfront about a lot of things. And I believe him when he says that, you know, they're kind of figuring this PR firm thing out as they go. I believe him. but that doesn't mean it's working. And if it's already off to this rough of a start, the cogs need to be greased a little bit, because the machine's not working. And so I really hope they take this as just criticism, not criticism, but criticism, but constructive criticism. Like, I still watched the matches today. I still watched Titans today. And like Soul said, I loved it. I love the set, Boggs. I don't know what you're talking about with the colors. I thought the graphics, the first thing I noticed when we watched the pay-per-view was like, these graphics are fantastic. And little things like, I love the video screen showing the score. I love how it's both everything's very simplistic but effective. Ken is the GOAT of hosting the show. I mean, it's all so good. So I want to be more excited than I am, but with all these problems we're having, and partially because we get to see how the sausage is made, it's a lot of kinks that need worked out, and I'm hoping we can get them worked out. And just like I said, we are always open to a dialogue with Christian or anyone from the PR firm. But we're very open to a dialogue and getting this problem fixed. But it's got to be sooner rather than later, because we're one of several after shows, and I don't want this to become a rampant problem, because I don't want to see every single after show does a lot of hard work, and I don't want to see it beat for nothing. So
right, yeah. And we as you guys have seen this year, we're not hesitating this year. We're not worried. We're talking whatever we want, obviously with respect, but like, we're not hiding away. 2022, we're not taking no crap this year. And the movements that they're doing are directly affecting the quality of what we can produce, and when it doesn't have to be done in that format. So it is causing, these are kind of natural reactions. So I think that's it, guys. I think we're going to sign off on that. So so any final thoughts? And me and Mike just give ours, but last word to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they can do to do better, and I hope that they do them, because the show looks like a lot of fun this year, and I want the enjoyment to be fully there for those of us who are working on the after shows, because right now it's not.
Okay, guys, but that's it. That's been the Ultimate Schmoedown After Show. Like, subscribe, comment. Feel free to put your comments on after the fact. After we go live, we're happy to respond and that kind of thing. Follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you guys when we see you. Not 100% sure when that will be. Not gonna lie, because if it's that hard to get a guest, then we're gonna reassess. I'm not, that's our honest take on this. So, Mike, anything finally you want to say?
I'll be in the Discord for a little bit tonight. I go to bed pretty early now because of the new job, so I'll be in there hanging out tonight. If you guys want to come check it out. If you're not already, just please subscribe to the page, join the Patreon, and all that stuff.
See these two play.
Yeah,
I literally forgot.
I'll be in the Discord. I'll be in the Discord until 8:00 my time. So for the next 45 minutes, because then I got to go beat Boggs at trivia.
Yeah.
Just merciless, just without hesitation. So,
oh damn. Okay, everyone, we've been the Ultimate Schmoedown After Show. We'll see you when we see you.